Hello and welcome to an algebra tutorial learning about single variable inequalities. In this video, I wanted to talk about how we actually translate words and translate ideas that we deal with in English into the correct inequality. So we have four main types of inequality. We have greater than, we have less than, we have to deal with greater than, less than, and equal signs as well. But they can be really tricky in terms of problems like this, in terms of what is it going to be? Is it going to be a greater than or less than problem? So let's go over some of the examples here. I'll kind of talk through them. I'll try and model what is going on, and hopefully these will be helpful for you guys as you're doing some problems. All right, let's take a look at this first one right here. Julie wants to spend at most $50 on school supplies. So how do we interpret that? So one thing I think of is helpful if I'm trying to translate this into the right inequality is keying on, okay, at most, but thinking of examples. What are some actual values this works? So if Julie wants to spend at most $50, that means she doesn't want to spend any more than $50. The most she'll spend is 50. So possible solutions to this first one are $40. She could spend $40 on school supplies. She could spend $25. She could spend $49.50. She could spend $10. She just can't spend any more than $50. Now, also at the most means $50 itself could be a solution. That would be the most she's willing to spend. So these are all possible solutions, and it helps me figure out how to write the inequality. So if I'm going to write J for Julie's spending, for variable, I would say Julie J. I need to have her look, she wants to spend less than, so she's going to spend less than $50 because those are all part of my solution. But it could also equal $50, right? That's part of at most $50, so I need to put an equal sign. So this would be a less than or equal to inequality to represent this situation. So J is less than or equal to 50. All right, let's take a look at another one here. Number 2. Trey wants to sell at least, okay, there's my kind of key words, inequality words there, at least 400 tickets for the fundraiser. So let's think about what are possible solutions here. Well, if he wants to sell at least 4 tickets, that means he wants to sell 400, but he also wants to sell more than that. So he probably would be more happier with selling 500 tickets. That's a possible solution. Maybe 429 tickets, maybe 750 tickets. These are all possible solutions. And again, just solutions and thinking about a problem helps me kind of narrow in then on what inequality does all that. So now I'm looking for numbers here that are 400 or bigger than. 500, 429, 750, these are all more than 400 tickets. So even though it's saying at least, really this is a more than problem. So Trey would like to sell more than 400 tickets. But he would at least be happy with selling 400. So this is also a greater than or an equal sign, because at least means it includes the $400 tickets, but he would be happier with more than that as well. So there's an inequality. There's two of them. One less than or equal to, and the other one greater than or equal to. All right, let's take a look at the next one here, number 3. The temperature in the freezer can be no more than 28 degrees inside. All right, let's think about our freezer here. If it can be no more than 28 degrees, well, that means I don't want it to be more than that, right? So my possible solutions, what do I want that temperature to be at? Well, the temperature could be 27. That'd be nice. That's not more than 28. It could be 26. It could be 0 degrees. It could be 28. Again, we also have to try and think about that boundary. We had to look carefully on the 50, the 400, and now the 28 to think, well, could it be equal to that? And I would say yes, 28 is not more than 28. And so I'm just being particular about my freezer can't be more than 28. So 28 is a solution to this one. And now if I'm going to write it, my freezer has to be less than 28 degrees because it can't be more than, but it could also be equal to 28 degrees. That would be acceptable as well too. All right, so the opposite of not more than is everything less than or equal to. All right, the final one, number 4. The amount of water in the tank can be no less than 42 liters. All right, so what are my solutions in this one? Well, if it can't be any less than, what's the opposite? So that means I do want things that are greater than 42 liters. So I would be happy with 43 liters. I'd be happy with 45. Those are solutions. 50 liters. Those are not less than 42 liters. So I'm looking for things greater than. What about exactly 42 liters? If I have a tank with 42 liters, does that work? Am I happy with that? It says the amount of water in the tank just can't be less than. So it can be no less than. So 42 liters is not less than 42 liters, so I'm going to accept it. It is a possible solution. So the water in the tank has to be greater than, because it can be no less than. So it has to be greater than 42 liters, but it could also be equal to 42 liters. All right, so these again, at most, at least, no more than, no less than. Oftentimes they can be kind of tricky, and it really takes you just pausing, thinking about the situation, helping write out some solutions can really make it more tangible to lead you to the right inequality that you need to write.